Hi, Monday, the 12th of August. And we're here to look at, well, this week's astrology, really. Today's astrology, this week's astrology. It's going to be this week because I'm particularly focused on the upcoming Mars-Jupiter conjunction, which means the planet Mars gets into the same part of the sky as Jupiter in Gemini. Um, and I'm going to just start reading it and let's see what happens because I'm confused. There we go. There we go. And what happens when I get confused? Well, the best thing I can always do is just start reading it, and then the fog clears. I'm overthinking it till the symbols start to get me, and then when they start to activate me, then that's fine. Okay, so we are here. Sorry, we're not here. I've set this chart for the 14th of August, Wednesday, the 14th of August, and it's late afternoon in the UK, which will be 9 o'clock in the morning in Pacific, and work it out from that Pacific Standard Time over on the West Coast. Right, now the reason I've done that is because here we are, they're almost exact. And they've just descended here, so they're pretty much rising over on the west coast, I guess. Now, they're opposite the moon at this point, and this is going to increase the impact. And I am still not entirely sure what the impact is here, although there are some, let's start the reading. I think that's the best thing to do. Okay. So first thing is, let's just start with Jupiter. All right, we've got the biggest planet here. So Jupiter is a symbol of enormous potency. It is I'm just going to stop sharing while I talk about it. You don't need to be looking at that. So a planet of great potency. So a planet or an energy of great potency. These planets represent energies. Okay. So it's the foremost, the uppermost, the highest fire planet. And as such, we've got lots of mythology around Jupiter's use, about his rulership over Olympus. There he is with his fire bolts. He's known for his anger, for his lust, for his huge panache, really. And I think one of the things that really strikes me most is that with Jupiter, that energy, we lose our worries. We have no fears. There is a marked, noticeable feeling of it doesn't matter. I'm well protected. Something will come along. I don't have to worry. It really enables us as human beings to drop some of the fear that the feminine brings. This is sort of like the ultimate, not extreme, but going towards extreme masculine. And let's face it, that energy doesn't really have fears. It is omnipotent. So there we are with Jupiter in Gemini. Now, is this his favorite zodiac sign? I don't think so. We can tell that because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the opposite sign to Gemini. So although Sagittarius and Gemini are on a theme, the axis is themed, and that axis is knowledge. Now that can be the knowledge of spiritual wisdom, philosophical wisdom, or it can be the knowledge that is just gathered when you consume a library, or you have a library in stacks of books on your bedside table with bookmarks halfway through, which is the typical Gemini thing. So Gemini just collects the energy and isn't in the least bit empowered by it. It's interested by it, but it doesn't seek power. Sagittarius feels empowered to the point that Sagittarius knows no master and can fly, literally, like the eagle. jump off the Grand Canyon, the walls of the Grand Canyon, and just fly around like an eagle. So Sagittarius is not really interested in the Gemini addiction for words and information. In fact, Sagittarius gets really impatient with information. It can't be bothered. What Sagittarius wants to do is learn all by itself. Actually, it doesn't want to learn. It wants to just know right from the beginning. It wants to have all knowledge inside. And there's no need to learn anything because you just know, because you're invincible. After all, you're God, aren't you? You're Zeus or Jupiter. There you go. So, how does Jupiter feel at the moment? Well, Jupiter is like, yeah, I'm being bombarded with information. And as we get into the information technology, the age of Aquarius, as we get into this age, then yes, Jupiter finds it even more structured, confusing, detailed, data-driven, all the stuff that Gemini likes. Sagittarius is like, oh dear, this is really tight. Anyway, so we've got a little bit of not hesitation, frustration as far as Jupiter's concerned. Don't want any more detail, just want to be powerful. Jupiter can master Gemini and silence it. So therefore, it's probably not as constrained as it would be as if it were in an Earth sign where it would be sort of trapped in a lead-lined coffin and buried 400 feet under concrete. Okay. Now, let's look at the impact of Mars. So Mars is testosterone, shot of adrenaline. Mars is obviously another fire sign, sorry, a fire planet. And as such is meeting a fire planet. So the two together are quite combustible. Shouldn't be there isn't any one fighting the other here. They are both going to agree on something. Gemini is a masculine element, and these two planets are masculine elements. So we can assume there will be action, obvious action. This is what the masculine does. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. If this isn't like coffee to you, it's my coffee. As one of my clients said, your coffee looks like my friend's ice cream. It tastes like it. Oh, just a throat. Okay. So Mars comes along, god of war, and certainly very happy to get out his sharp sword and to prod Zeus, Jupiter, and together they can, just march forward. This way, men. Okay. Does Gemini want this? No way. Gemini's like, oh, no, 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 no. We don't do battle. I don't do battle. The Gemini energy is like, no, slippery. We can talk our way out of this. Let's talk our way out of this. Look, here's loads of words. Talk, communicate. So, how about the moon then becoming opposite to it? At least it introduces some feminine, some fear. Now, of course, the moon is in Sagittarius, the very sign that Jupiter would love to be in. So the moon is largely controlled by masculine energy here. Nevertheless, it has some imprint. So the moon is going, oh, no, 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 no. Oh. Now, what is what is the reading? What would I say could be the outcome to all this? What's the weather prediction? Do you know, I could give you keywords. I could say something in the media, something that causes an explosion in terms of information that flies around the planet, the news stories, the news agencies all bursting into life. something that depends on information and detailed information at that. So it's like the revealing of somebody's memoirs, you know, somebody's in a loft or a cellar somewhere clearing out and finds, you know, the book of, I don't know, you know, something really amazing, mind-blowing, and life-changing. We've just discovered some Dead Sea Scrolls, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's possible. We've just discovered the site of the Battle of whatever and a whole, you know, load of information about it. Yeah, I could get that. What happens to individual Geminis? I'm a Gemini, right? Now, yes, I have been very, and thankfully, very sort of animated just recently. So I've managed to get a lot of stuff done. However, the last 2 days, I managed to get Achilles tendonitis, which means my Achilles tendons are swollen and I can hardly walk. Great. So in terms of hopping and skipping and running up to the local store for things, no, it's not happening. I'm stuck in my office with a fan on because it's very hot. So I'm intrigued. What's going to happen? Will I suddenly write a book in a day? Oh, now there's a thought. Actually, I could really do with doing that because I've got to start a book called The Planets now. And I've got to get another book out that's been written but has not yet been published called The Sex Life of the Sun. But anyway, I digress. Yes, I suppose I could expect a really wordy day. So I suppose for us individually, yes, you could have a really good wordy day. You could redo your website and get it all done and do all these newsy, active information technology data things, and you'd be using it in a really wise way. That would be great. Yeah, I think that's perfect. What do I think of in terms of war? It doesn't read very well. It does read very Marsy, very warlike, very Jupiterian, throw your thunderbolts around, I'm afraid, which as a Gemini, I don't like war, so I'm like, oh no. Um, oh, and that's it really. I'm going to be as intrigued as you guys. I wanted to get all this down now in a video because I didn't want to wait until the news stories broke and then got the video out going, oh, it's to do with the news story. Yeah, really. There we go. And I know what I am going to do this week. I am due to do another video in the series which supports the book. So at the moment, this year's projects are these videos, which are daily videos just in general, looking at astrology, teaching astrology, looking at cosmic insights, this sort of thing. So that's one series. So if you're on YouTube, under my playlists, there's two separate playlists. So one is for Daily Astrology 2024, and the other one is to support the easy way to learn astrology. That's this book. So I am going to get the 5th video out, which actually is about the element of air, funnily enough, and I've just been talking about Gemini. So I do intend to get that done in the morning because it's too hot and I can't walk anywhere. So, well, if that isn't doing what I should be doing because I'm broadcasting, getting something out there, yeah, it works for me. That's what so you can all do something like that, hey. So okay, thank you for listening. And yes, if people are very kindly following the series for the book, which is very nice of them. And so asking, you haven't done lecture or lesson 5 yet, and you're right, I haven't. It's not very good, is it? Oh dear. So I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm going to say well, there we go. And I'm going to say thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see if anything's happened. If not, I'm dying to get the Venus video done. Somebody mentioned it on YouTube. Can you not do a whole thing on Venus? And I am so dying to do that because I really have researched this energy and have a whole different take to the one that you might find elsewhere on the internet. So I think you might be interested. So I'm going to get that done as well. Yes, all this stuff being done. Okay, thank you very much and goodbye, and I'll speak to you soon.